Good evening, everybody. My name is Marty Cantrell, and I'm going to give you a few tips on boarding a beaver. I caught this beaver just north of here. Not a very big one. It was a youngster from the current year, or for a little bit over a year old. It wasn't too big, but it was part of 6 beavers that we found trying to take up residence in a small pond in a suburban neighborhood. The guy had about 5 beaver, and he wanted to be able to get those things off his property because they were trying to make a bank den in his pond, and he had horses in there, and he didn't want them stepping in it and breaking their leg or whatever, so they were eating up his willow trees as well. And so we went in there and we got them all out in about, I think it took about 10 days. We didn't really care how fast that we were doing it. We only put out a few traps, but I've already skinned the beaver out, and we're going to stretch it out. Now I've got all these rings on the board that you see here, and they correspondingly get bigger about the same amount as it goes larger. It goes small, medium, large, extra large, extra large, 2x, 3x, all that stuff. So this one is going to be about a small or a medium, and we're going to go ahead and tools of the trade. You're going to need, I guess you're going to need your hammer. I'm going to use these horseshoe nails because they have sharp points on the end of them, and that helps to punch the holes through the leather a little bit better. What we're going to look at, we're trying to make a finished product. This right here is my finished product, if you can see that pretty good. So if you'll see a whole bunch of little bitty horseshoe nails there, we're going to go about a 1/2 inch spacing apart. I've already pulled out a lot of the nails on this thing, but that's what we're going to do for the next one. It's going to turn out to be about the same size when it comes down to it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you a little bit, talk to you about a little bit of things to avoid doing. We're going to start today. We're going to open this thing up. I've already fleshed it out. I probably didn't do the best job. I never claimed to be an expert on these things. But we got our leg holes here. Just some small leg holes. This would have been the head, our ears, and the other leg holes there. So what we're going to start out doing, we're going to pull this thing from the front, or basically to one of these lines. We're going to pick the same one on the top and the bottom. So we're going to go up here and we're going to start at the top. I'm going to I've picked the medium line, and I'm going to stretch that down to the medium one on the bottom. Then I'm going to pull it out to the sides to the same line. And if I'm able to pull it fairly easily, then I'm going to try to go a little bit further and go to the next line. So I don't think that I'm going to be able to make it all the way to that large line. So we're going to start off with a medium. And as we stretch, this is going to get a little bit more tighter. We're going to go starting out with the cardinal points. So I'm going to start up here. I know around these lips I may end up trimming some off, so I'm going to go to the line. I'm going to hammer in that horseshoe nail. They're sharp. They go in fairly easy. Do that at the top and the bottom. You want to get as close to the edge as possible without risking a chance for it to push through, break through when the skin pulls tight. So give it a little bit of bite to be able to hold on to. These horseshoe nails really help because you can push that little bit in there, and it kind of holds on already when you do it. With any other nail, you want to have to hit it a little bit harder to make it break through the skin because those nails are not as sharp, but these are pretty pointed. And so anyway, stay to your line. Come on out, make sure you make it to the line. Make it a little bit extra if you need to. just so you know that you got it stretched fully into that size and you won't get docked down into the next one. I believe these things, I'm not for sure, but I believe they do get graded electronically when they get scanned to determine the size. I mean, they got a lot to do up there at NAFA at the auction. Many beaver going up there every year, so I don't think they have time to put the tape to each and every one. It goes pretty fast when you got it. You just basically keep splitting the difference until you get enough nails in. Like I said, you'll space them about every half an inch around that line, because what you want to do, if we were to leave it like this, well, obviously this is not a very desirable shape for a beaver going to auction. We want to get it as wide as possible for when it dries, just like that other one. We need to, basically we're going to get a perfect oval is what we're reaching for. So, get this thing pulled on up, and it's going to come on out. Now, these horseshoe nails, you'll notice that they might be an inch or an inch and a half long. That's real good for that versus we got a use for that length versus using something like a aluminum push pin that you see a lot of trappers using. Once we get this hide tacked down and the horseshoe nails in, we're going to pull it up. We're going to pull the hide up off of the board and allow air to get in behind it. And that way it'll go a little bit faster on the drying process. And look like I went to the wrong line with one of them. You got to catch yourself there. Get them all to the same line. And we're going to keep putting these nails in because we don't want it to have a scalloped pattern is what they call it. When this thing dries up, you don't want it to do like this between nails. You want it to just be one smooth line all the way around. That's nice and pretty for that buyer that's going to be purchasing this thing to make a garment or whatever, hat, mittens, whatever you're going to take it. So I've got it up to, I got it pretty good now, and I could probably, if I wanted to, tan it like this. You know, get it dry and send it up to tan it like this, but I don't want it to, for that reason. I'm not going to tan this thing. I just want to send it out of here and get a few bucks. Maybe not that much this year, and that's okay, because we had fun doing it. I've got a few more nails to go. I'm going to use the last 3 nails to tack up one of these leg holes and show you for a second. But I want to take a moment to say that you can kind of see how tight it is right now. It's not really super tight.